Thank you for asking me to contribute to the service today as I try to say something about two of the questions relating to the Bible reading from Matthew chapter 13. And the question is, what do you need to be patient about? What do you need to be patient about? The book of Proverbs says, patience is to be desired more than power. Self-control is better than ruling over entire cities. That's Proverbs 16. The conclusion of a matter is better than the start. It is better to be patient rather than proud in spirit, Ecclesiastes 7 tells us. For the seed to grow and the dough to rise in our parables, patience is needed. It doesn't just happen instantly. We live in an impatient world. We want instant communication, instant news, instant meals, instant service. The idea of having to wait for anything is anathema to most people today. When I got married, we saved up to buy things bit by bit, and it took us years. Today, the majority of people buy everything new and on credit. Life's too short, you see, to hang around. Seize the moment, make hay while the sun shines, live for today. The downside of this is that it is increasingly hard to give things time. Instead of waiting for a new policy to bed in, governments ditch one after another should they fail to produce instant results. Few people, it seems, are prepared to wait. As a result, we can all too easily rush into a commitment we cannot honour, make a decision we regret, act on impulse only to spend the rest of our life regretting. The old saying that patience is a virtue has much to teach us. And what does this have to say about Rural Mission Sunday? Be patient. At the time of saying this, I'm having to be patient about seeing my family, particularly my young grandson who's 2 years old, due to the lockdown restrictions. Patience about not being able to go to church, to have close fellowship with my fellow Christians. Patient about not being able to visit my church members, particularly the most vulnerable, and so on. COVID-19 has changed our way of living, and it demands great patience. Be patient is not advice we always welcome, any more than those early Christians would have done, but it's good advice nonetheless. God's time is not the same as ours. We do not understand the workings of his mind. Just listen to some familiar proverbs or quotations about patience, which may help you in answering the question, what do you need to be patient about? And here they are. Rome wasn't built in a day. More haste, less speed. Patience is a virtue. Make haste slowly. Slow and steady wins the race. A watch kettle never boils. Patience is needed with everyone, but first of all with ourselves, said Francis de Sales. Patience is the companion of wisdom, wrote St. Augustine of Hippo. Have patience with a friend rather than lose them forever. A lot of the road to heaven has to be taken at 30 miles an hour. Do not walk through time without leaving worthy evidence of your passage, wrote Pope John XIII. Discuss or think about, what do you need to be patient about? And the second question, what do you do when you feel that life is out of control? There is no doubt about it. This is how we've all felt since COVID-19. It hasn't affected other people somewhere else. We've all been affected in some way. Maybe through losing a loved one, self-isolating, not seeing your family, working from home, losing your job, and so the list just goes on. faith doesn't exempt us from the difficulties of life, but it does enable us to have a hopeful attitude and spirit. And for me, in recent weeks and months, the faithfulness of God to his people has really spoken forcibly. The Bible is full of varied themes, but one which is found on every page of it is of God's utter and total faithfulness. When life seems out of control, God will be faithful to his people, as he has been in the past, as he is in the present, and as he will be as he leads us into the future. This God became personal in Jesus Christ, who is the same yesterday, today, and forever. The faithfulness of God is so important to me, as is the resurrection faith. As Christians, we are a resurrection community. We're empowered by the Holy Spirit of God. And at the heart of our faith is the cross and resurrection of Jesus Christ. After the crucifixion, the disciples found themselves with lives which seemed to be out of control. Their circumstances had changed much. Jesus, whom they had left all to follow, had been crucified, and they hid away behind closed doors, fearful, and the risen Jesus came to them in their distress and offered them his peace. We can experience the resurrection faith now, and it leads to the giving of God's abiding presence through the Holy Spirit. He is with us now. Life may seem out of control, and it may seem difficult, but in following Jesus Christ, we can have a deep and lasting peace, remembering the final words of John Wesley. The best of all is, God is with us.